Welcome YouTube. I decided since it is close to St. Patrick's Day that I would show you how to draw a Celtic or Celtic, depending on how you say it, knot. But a basic Celtic knot is actually very simple, building the structure, and then they're fun to just go out from there and design. So when you start drawing anything, you're going to begin drawing with finding your shapes. And the knot we're going to be drawing is my favorite, which is called the Trinity knot. And it starts off with a triangle. So I'm going to draw my basic triangle shape here. There we go. And again, I'm just pushing very, very lightly. I'm using actually a 4B pencil. I had some people asking me about what kind of pencil I use. I use any kind of pencil, but this is actually a really good quality. I like a 4B, so I buy a lot of them. So I have a lot of them, so that's what I'm using. So I'm putting very little pressure on my pencil to draw my triangle shape. Once I finish getting the shape I like, I'm going to find the very, very center. Now you can be extremely mathematical in this and measure it with a measuring ruler. There we go. You can measure it with a ruler. I'm going to just eyeball it. And then I'm going to do some looping. I'm going to connect this top point to this point, but it's going to run through that point. So I'm going to sweep with a sweeping motion, and I want to keep it as consistent as possible. And then I'm going to sweep this point to this point, same thing. I want them to meet, almost like you're bowing it out there. And then I'm going to have these 2 points meet. Now when drawing anything, you're going to look not just for your just random shapes, but also there are two types of shapes. There's positive and negative. The way I explain it to my art students in my class is a positive shape is something that you can touch. This pencil is a positive cylinder shape. You can touch it. The circle that my fingers make is a negative shape. I can't touch it, but it's still a shape. So in your Celtic knot, there's going to be both positive and negative shapes. Depending on which ones you color in and make pronounce will determine whether they're positive or negative. But right now, these lines here, the actual line itself is going to be our positive shape, and the shapes between here are going to be our negative. So now that I have my shapes pretty much out there and I'm liking the way they're looking, I'm going to thicken them up just a little bit. And again, I'm going really lightly. I'm going to erase a lot of these lines when I go to darken things in. And I'm going to thicken that line up, keeping this inside line as true as possible. Flip this around. And what I want to do is I want to make sure that this line coming down here stays constant. It doesn't look like it's being broken up. This line goes right into here. I want to make that just the same line. And this line, I want to make this one continuous. I don't want to look like I went halfway and then stopped and started again. Okay, and then I'm going to come around to this line here, and this line is going to feed right into this one. For those of you who are wondering, yes, I am left-handed. And actually a lot of artistic people are left-handed. But I know a lot of right-handed people who are artistic too, so I don't think it really has anything to do with being left-handed or right-handed. Now the important thing to remember is that you keep the thickness of your lines consistent. You want it to be as thick here as it is here, as it is here, as it is here. And that's just as important as the distance between these. Alright, and there we go. Our Trinity knot is basically blocked in, so I'm going to pick up my handy dandy gummy eraser. If you don't have a gummy eraser, next to pencil and paper, I think a good eraser is like the next most important kind of art tool you're going to need, obviously, in sketching and drawing. And I recommend gummy erasers above any other kind, just because they're so gentle on my paper and you can just mold them to be whatever kind of sharp point that you need them to be. And they're a great stress reliever. You can just scrunch and munch those and all that good stuff. So find a good gummy eraser, and we're just going to erase that. Of course, if you don't have a gummy eraser, you can use whatever eraser you have. Just make sure it's a clean and new eraser. I don't know if you've ever used an eraser before and it wasn't clean or new and it left just this like blobby streak of eraser on there, and you're like, it looks worse now than when I started. Yeah, that's because your eraser got old and is dirty. And after a while, this gummy eraser will get old and dirty. I've had it for a long time. When I first got it, it was a very light gray, and as you can see, it's got a lot of lead in it, but it does not smear or leave the lead back on the paper. So, but I will have to, you have to trade your erasers out every once in a while. Get new ones. Nothing lasts forever, except for the word of the Lord. Okay, and I'm just going to clean up the lines a little bit on the inside. There we go. Alright, so now I'm going to take my nice black, I use a Prismacolor color pencil right there, and I'm going to sharpen it up with my cute little sharpener. I got this when I was in China. It is so cute. I love this guy. And everybody sees him is like, why did you bring me home one? I know I could have. They were so inexpensive over there. So I'm going to take and just really just darken in my lines here on my Trinity knot. And it's really important to have a really sharp pencil when you're doing such fine line work. Okay, now when you get to the center part, this is where it's kind of fun, is that you want to make this look a little 3D. So one part's going to go over and then under that, and the more complicated ones you'll see how it really goes over and under. But this one here, I'm just going to have this bar here is going to go over top first, and so I'm just going to trace that right in there, and then this one goes next. And then this one goes into the very bottom. And again, I'm working, keeping that distance in between my lines consistent as possible. All right. So now you can just go back in and add a little shadowing if you want to push that back even a little bit further. And this changes completely if you make this a thicker line. You can have extremely thick lines all the way through here. You can add some extra curlicues in there. You can just begin building, but this is a basic, simple Celtic Trinity knot. So very fun. So practice these out, have fun with them. Rolling away pencil! Have a wonderful day, and if I don't talk to you before St. Patrick's Day, have a happy St. Patrick's Day. Don't forget to wear green, and of course, remember to draw, and we'll talk to you next time. God bless. Bye-bye.